I just wanted to welcome you to this evening's call and welcome Elenora, and thank you very much for giving generously of your time as you always do. Have you met this group of participants before?
No,
Okay.
you're all unknown to me.
They're all unknown to you.
Mhm.
So we're going to change that. I think we should start with a bit of an introduction to Elenora, so she knows the kind of business that what you're doing in your business. And then I guess you were just going to talk to them about branding and headshots and that kind of thing. Is that right?
Yes.
So I'm supposed to find out how I can make somebody co-host so I can leave at some point in time. How do I do that, Rebecca? How do I make you?
I believe what you do is if you go into participants and then you're going to click on the person you want to make co-host, go to more, and there should be an option there.
Okay. So Rebecca, are you staying on till the end of the call?
I am, yes.
Okay, so there you are. So more, and we are going to make you the co-host.
Okay.
Yes. All right, perfect. There we go. Fixed.
You're the responsible adult.
Great responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah, the check's in the mail. So why don't we start with Jennifer? Jennifer, why don't you tell Elenora in like a brief amount of time, because we don't want to use our whole time together with our introductions, but just who you are and what you do.
Okay, I am Jennifer Gould. I am the founder of Extraordinary Events, which is going to be an up-and-coming event planning business that focuses on social distance appropriate events for current situations.
Thank you. Mackenzie.
Hi, I am Mackenzie Galloway, and my business is an e-commerce website for artisan makers in the Leeds and Grenville area to sell their product.
Good, thank you. Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy. I'm starting a business growing abundant bouquets for women and also having an e-commerce portion of that for vintage florals and self-care.
Neat. Okay, Alana.
Hi, I am Alana McKibben. I'm an artist, illustrator, and graphic designer, and I'm starting a business, well, just being a working artist and providing illustration services. And I'm going to have like an online, well, I'm going to be selling a lot and marketing a lot online. So.
Trish.
Hi, I'm Trish Duchesne, and I'm starting a sewing business, which would entail drapery, upholstery, alterations, dressmaking, you name it, in my home.
Very talented.
Thank you.
Deborah.
I'm Deb Varley, and I will be launching an online gift box company that is solely stocked by local small artisans and businesses.
Thank you. Amy.
Hi, so I'm Amy Purvis, and I'm looking at opening a dog park, but more of a private dog run in a big open space for people to bring their pets. So they just rent their time slot and then they bring their pets and exercise, no matter the attitude or breed type, whatnot. So that's what I'm doing.
Cool. And Caroline.
I'm Caroline Zipfel. I can't say my name. And I do regulatory food labeling. So basically a label that's going to be brought into or marketed into Canada. I tell my customer what they can put on it, do their nutrition facts tables, allergens, ingredients, claims, and all that wonderful stuff.
Cool. Thank you. And Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Braden. I'm the founder of Braden Digital. I am a social media manager and consultant. My goal is to help businesses in our region compete in an increasingly digital world.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, and the beautiful Elenora. So
evening, everybody.
I'll let you introduce yourself and get started. So if I disappear, it's just that, you know, I'm old and gone to bed.
Before you disappear, though, make sure you give me control to be able to share my screen.
Okay.
I'll get that.
Okay.
Because then I won't be able to do the presentation.
Oh.
Right. Let's just see if that works. Yep, perfect. Okay,
yeah.
so I have control.
There you
But
go.
when I need it, I'll take it. So good evening, everyone. My name is Elenora Luberto,
Yes.
and I create compelling photos for people who hate having their photo taken. So that is a USP, a unique selling proposition, and we'll be chatting a little bit about that after my presentation. I don't know how far in advance you guys are in the program and if you've actually covered USPs yet. Have you touched on that?
Yes.
That is. So basically, in a nutshell, we'll get to it at the end of it, right? Because it's a bit of a separate discussion to headshots and branding. But basically, why would somebody do business with you? And not just because you've got a nice box or because I take nice photos or because you've got labels or whatever, because lined up amongst 6 or 7 competitors that do the same thing, why would somebody choose you over your competitors? If the answer is, well, I've got a great product, you should have a great product if you're in business. If the answer is, well, I've got great customer service, you should have great customer service if you're in business. So that is not a reason. That doesn't make you unique. In this day, it shouldn't make you unique. Sometimes it does because some people aren't running their businesses properly, but that's not what's at the heart of marketing yourself. So I just want you to think about that. Why would somebody choose to do business with you when you're lined up amongst 6 or 7 other competitors who are doing the same thing? So what's unique about you? Okay, so I'm gonna jump backwards now to headshots and branding. I'm gonna share my screen with you and I'm gonna do a very quick presentation about headshots and about branding, because you think that you know what a headshot is, but sometimes I find that people don't. So I'm just gonna go here, I'm gonna share my screen. And you should be seeing my Zoom there. I am going to open up, close that, and open up my slideshow here. Okay, so from the top. So I am Elenora Luberto. I'm the owner and lead photographer at Gem & Photography. My superpower, so my USP, is I create compelling photos for people who dread, okay, hate having their photo taken. So there's some controversy whether or not I should be using the word hate, but the language that my clients have in their mind, even though they might not use the word, is I hate having my photo taken. So when I speak to my clients, I am speaking to that language that is in their mind. They don't really want to know that, oh, I had my first camera, I was, 11, or my first wedding I shot when I was 16. They want to know, how am I going to serve them? So the language that is in their mind is, I'm not photogenic. I hate having my photo taken. The thought of it just makes me sick. I don't like family photos. I definitely don't like taking selfies. So I'm addressing that language. And in that blanket statement, I create compelling photos for people who dread having their photo taken. I'm probably speaking to 98% of the people that walk in through my studio doors. So I've got 2 main specialties. The first one is weddings. Just some quick samples of my work. So there's a wedding photo. My other main specialty is headshots and branding. That's most related to you this evening, because I would imagine that the majority of you are not interested in talking to me about wedding photography. So what I want you guys to think to yourselves for a second is, if I said to you, what is the definition of a headshot? Many people think they know what a headshot is. So what is a headshot? Let's just put that on the table right away. So just unmute yourselves, chime in, and let me know with what you think the test answer would be to what is a headshot.
Part of your branding?
Part of your branding, okay, potentially.
Way to showcase yourself and what you do.
Okay, a way to showcase yourself and what you do. Okay, potentially.
What you do and your personality as well.
Okay. right. Any other answers?
A picture of you from your shoulders up.
Yes. Yes. Essentially, the watered down definition of what a headshot is a picture of yourself from the breastbone up. However, so, you know, a good chunk of you were able to explain what a headshot potentially does or what a headshot looks like. But when I go and create profiles, I am seeing things that are not headshots. A headshot is not a photo of your cat. It's not a photo of your favorite flower. It's not a photo of your kids, no matter how cute they are. And it's not a photo of you cropped out of a group photo on your last family vacation. So sometimes we do great lip service. We can explain things and say what a headshot is, but the practice is a little bit different. So I just want you to think to yourselves, you're starting a business. Some of you have already started your business. What are you showing as a headshot? And some of you might fall into that list. So just to be clear, these are examples of headshots, and you will recognize some people that are in that gallery there. All right, so when you look at them, yep, it's literally a photo of a person's head, breastbone up. There are no props. They've got some type of attire on. Usually it looks professional, but looking at these headshots, you can't really tell, unless you knew them, exactly what they do. So basically, a headshot gives a very small snapshot of a person. It basically just says, hi, my name is, and it says I'm professional. But all of these gals could be, they could be doctors, they could be lawyers, they could be working at a law office, they could be working in the pharmacy, they could be estheticians, they could be anything that is professional. So your headshot doesn't say exactly what you do or how you do it. It just says that you do something, and it's showing, hopefully, that you have the potential of doing something well. So basically, a headshot, in simple terms, it's a photo from the breastbone up, but really it's a quick hello to your clients and audience. It's like a handshake, right? So what is branding? So if a headshot is just that, the picture of your head from the breastbone up, and it's a quick hello and a handshake. Branding are photos that show more of your personality, what you do, and how you do it. And it's also, this is the key part, sharing valuable, relevant content consistently to a targeted market. So that's the fancy part, right? It's sharing valuable, relevant content consistently to a targeted market. So where a headshot can be a little bit more generic or general. So if I say to you, think of a LinkedIn headshot, you automatically get an image of what a LinkedIn headshot looks like, no matter what the occupation of the person is or what the person holds on LinkedIn, right? But when you think of branding, it's a little bit more vague, right? But if you think of branding for Nike, or you think of branding for some other popular service or product, you instantly get a feeling of what their goods look like, what they do, how they do it, who they market to. So if I say to you doTERRA and you think of doTERRA oils, you get a vision in mind of what the doTERRA product is, who they're speaking to, their packaging, their branding, their mission. So that is part of branding. So here are some examples of branding sessions. So you can guess very quickly. Now I did a professional headshot for her and she was in the other gallery. And it may have not been obvious to you in looking at her headshot that she is a trainer or that she's a fitness expert. But when you look at these images right away, without knowing too much about her, you know what she does and how she does it. And when she uses these images, you know that she's going to be talking about, you know, the value of avocado and fruit and vegetables, and perhaps as a personal trainer, the relationship that she has with her clients, because what is said at the gym stays at the gym. So that is strategic and consistent information that's being shown to a targeted audience, right? We also know that she's, has to do with fitness and exercise because she's sitting on the ground with her yoga mat and her weights. Do you guys, are you starting to see the difference between a headshot that's just a handshake and branding that is an invitation to come in, sit down, let's do business together. You can trust me. This is the way that I do my work. So this gal is a real estate agent, right? So she works out of her car. So we have a professional headshot there for her. Do you guys see the whole screen? I'm just going to pause it for a second. Do you guys see anything blocking the top? Okay, good. So we've got a professional headshot for her, right? But quite often she's out there with her boots and her jeans and a sweater. So you're going to see her here looking like this. You're going to see her on her phone, but quite often you're going to see her in her car office with her hair up and going on site visits. So these images for her are effective when she's posting on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and not just for her business card to say that she's a real estate agent. She might look familiar to some of you. So she is an auctioneer. She's an excellent example, Teresa. If you go to her website, she's got her images peppered in her website, and you see her in action as an auctioneer, and she does online auctions, and she's, an appraiser, and she goes into people's homes and looks to see what they've got. So hence the muddy boots and the camera and the clipboard, right? So when you're looking at her images and she uses them in conjunction with her website, you know what she does and how she does it. And it's going to increase trust and credibility. We do business with people we trust. So these images help her increase the trust factor and for people to hire her. So this is Priscilla. She runs Made by Bees, and she had an on-location branding session. So she creates and sells wax wraps. So I photographed the process. So the hand-dipped wraps, the ingredients, the cutting, the sewing, the application of the wraps, her gift sets, her as a beekeeper, what she actually wears when she goes out and does her thing with the bees. Here, over here, this is like a headshot, but it's an environmental headshot. So where she creates her items, and here is some beeswax. So when Priscilla's got an excellent website as well. So all of these images, right? So we strategically used a stone wall, right? Otherwise it could have just been like a white backdrop, but it wouldn't have been as effective for the products that she sells. So when you go to her website, so she's got, an online catalog of all the different wraps and the patterns, but you're also seeing what goes into those wraps and patterns and who the person is that's creating those wraps. So branding is an invitation to come in and sit down for a while, where a headshot is a handshake. It says, you can trust me. This is what I do. Let's work together. And the key also for that too is that branding is the whole process of sharing valuable, relevant content consistently to a targeted market. So it's far more strategic than a headshot. So what's the big deal? Why should we care about whether or not we have a professional headshot or branding? We used to have about 7 seconds to make a first impression, because there's that common phrase, you've got 7 seconds to make a first impression. Well, actually nowadays, studies show that it's actually 3 seconds. And recent studies are saying that it's actually even less than that. It's 1/10 of a second, that our attention spans are dwindling for lots of different reasons, which we won't get into. But people are making snap judgments faster and sooner. So if you are not fostering trust within that 10th of a second, somebody's going to navigate away from you on your website or navigate away from you on your social media page or wherever it is and however it is that you are marketing your goods or your services in a 10th of a second. So it's key that the first impression that they have of you is a professional impression of you or the right impression of you. So they're not looking at a cat and they're not looking at a flower and they're not looking at your head cropped out of a blurry family photo. So I want you to ask yourselves, if you have a profile picture up on Facebook and you have a business page and you have a website and you've got an about section, or you plan to have an about section of yourself, or you've got products that you think that you are going to market, what does your headshot say about you and the services that you offer? What impression are you putting out there? Does it say, hello, my name is, you can trust me, come on in, sit down for a while and do business? Or does it allow someone to click away from you within a 10th of a second? If you are in the category where, oh my gosh, yeah, I need to do something about my headshot, or oh, yeah, that's right, it makes sense, that resonates with me, I can certainly help you with that. Here's my little plug. But even if you don't look at me for photography and you're going to look at somebody else for photography, just make sure that the person that you would choose to work with is understanding you, your business, who your target market is, and how you want to be represented, and that you're not just pursuing somebody with a nice camera that's going to take a nice photo, because there's far more strategy involved than just taking a good picture of yourself. So I can help you with that. So in studio or on location, I can create a compelling photo of you, even though you might say that you hate having your photo taken, so that you can up-level your business or establish your business. And I guarantee you, you will enjoy yourself in the process. So for the Women's Entrepreneurship Program, I am offering exclusive rates for the groups that are coming through. It's a $99 classic headshot session, which represents a 50% savings over the regular studio rate. So if you are interested, reach out to me before Friday. That doesn't mean that I would photograph you before Friday. That just means that you would lock in a session at some point in the future at that rate. And we would plan towards, okay, well then what should your headshot look like? What do you do? Do you need branding? Do you need a small branding session? Do you need a headshot with a couple of other pictures? So if you reach out to me and we start that process, I can certainly help with those images to get you some traction. So where can you reach me? So my website is geminphotography.com. My email address is info@geminphotography.com. And my phone number is 613-794-0662. And I'm Elenora Luberto. There you go. So I'm going to stop sharing. And do I have you gobsmacked with like headshots and, and branding? Are you like, oh my gosh, there's one other thing that I have to do?
It's exciting to think about that.
Yeah. So Jeanette and I did headshots a couple of years ago because we would meet with clients and we'd say, you really should have a professional headshot done. And we didn't have them done. And we had a blast. And like, this is a steal, ladies. But there's no makeup or hair involved in that, right, Elenora?
No. If you need hair and makeup, I can certainly arrange that for you. You would pay the provider that comes into the studio to do that, pay them directly. I don't make a cent from it, but I can certainly help with that. And it's a service that will certainly help lend more professional results.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can afford to go that route, great. And if you can't, just get a really good headshot done. Like it's for your LinkedIn profile, for your Facebook page. It's in my opinion, it's essential.
What about
Sorry,
go ahead.
what about is that a branding kind of fee, or is that just a straight headshot?
Just a straight headshot.
Okay.
So branding sessions are a little bit more costly because there's more involved.
Yeah.
So there's change of outfits, there's, you know, staging of props, there's a little bit more discovery work and finding out, you know, who your target audience is, what you want them to think about you. We plan outfits. We get you a headshot in there too. There's just a lot more involved in that. And if that is something that you're interested in, then you would reach out to me, we would chat about what you're needing, and I would still offer a reduced rate for any graduates of the program. No problem. It's just, it's just a little bit more of a process than just a straightforward headshot.
Yep.
For the branding, do you work at all with the, you know, like when you were talking about the backgrounds for the honey one,
Mhm.
you discuss like colors and what the predominant and secondary colors are going to be on the websites? Is that something that you
Yeah,
do, or does the client have to come with that information already?
No, Tracy.
established?
So, you know, let's say, for example, you reached out to me and you're like, so this is what typically happens. Someone says to me, they see my work. They're like, oh, you know what? I know I should do it. I'm going to start with a headshot. I'm going to reach out for a headshot. So as soon as you send either an email to me, or you reach out to me on my contact form, or you call me, and I start asking you questions. Okay, well, what do you do? Do you have a website? And as we're chatting, I'm going to go on your website. I'm going to look at your website at the same time that we're talking. And then I'm going to be creeping your Facebook business page if you have a business page. And then I'm going to be looking at your social, your personal page on Facebook. And then I'm going to see, do you have an Instagram page? And then I'm going to ask you, are you creating a logo? Are you working with someone that's creating a website for you? Because sometimes it's all a soup. And there's all these pieces coming together. Some people are very clear. They've got a website, they've got a logo, they know their colors, right? That's already been done. So then I'm like, okay, how can we weave the photography into that? So to answer your question about backdrops, I start looking at all those profiles, and I'm thinking, okay, if you've got, let's say, a very light and airy website, or you lean towards light colors and pastels, then I have a very good idea how I'm going to photograph you. So your backdrop is probably going to be a very light gray. It might be a white. It might be a brick, right? So it's going to be in line with whatever you have going on your website. If you're like, I don't know what my website is going to be, I just need a headshot, then I say to you, okay, I'm going to photograph you on a white backdrop, because that's going to give you the most mileage and in the most applications. If you're like, no, I wear black all the time, like, okay, I'm going to photograph you on a charcoal backdrop or a black backdrop. So I can get a sense of who you are on the phone and through your profiles, and then ask you, okay, well, who's your audience? So even though you might wear black all the time and black hair and all your stuff is black, but your website is very light and airy, and you're in, let's say, health and wellness, you do not want to be presenting all that blackness and all that darkness, right? So I'd say, yes, you might want to consider, you know, wearing light clothing and a light backdrop, and, you know, choosing a logo that represents that lightness, right? So it's a whole process. It's not just a color of, you know, do I have different colored backdrops? I do, but it's a matter of fit, right? And then giving those images some mileage.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to know what level of preparation you usually have clients have before they sit down to do something like that. And also, I don't know, in your grouping of photos there, I think most of them were in studio. Do you have examples like on your website of like out in the field or outdoor branding?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
What about
kind of what you're wearing, and as for kind of earrings, and whether you wear your glasses, not wear your glasses, how does that affect the whole
it has
whole
a
outlook?
big impact. So if you could think of your social media and your website as an outfit, right? What you're wearing is also going to contribute to that outfit. So I make recommendations. So every client that books with me gets a booking email with tips and what to bring and what to wear. And we've already discussed this on the phone. So first, when we do that discovery call, you know, sometimes it takes a half hour, 45 minutes, and we go through the whole process. And I then send an email that has all of those things that we've covered on the phone. And some people are completely lost when it comes to outfits. They're like, I don't have anything in my closet. Well, I also know people that you can hire that will come into your closet and pull an outfit together for you, or go shop for you and bring it to you, and you can decide. So there is, honestly, whatever the problem is, we can solve it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If you don't know where to start, just pick up the phone, call me, we'll chat, we'll go through your stuff, and I will guide you. And we'll figure out what are the pain points that are preventing you from getting a headshot. So and outfits and earrings and stuff like that will be the smallest step in the process. Clients arrive sometimes with a suitcase of images, sorry, a suitcase of outfits, or a laundry basket of outfits. And I have a rolling rack, and we just put them on the rack before they sit into hair and makeup. We go through them. They're not sure of what they should have brought. They have an idea, but they couldn't decide. And then we'll sit through them like, okay, these three go together. This one's too busy. Okay, this one's perfect for your headshot. Da, 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 da. My clients will send me texts as they're shopping. So it's a process. It's not just a show up and, yeah, well, I'm going to wake up today and go get my headshot done. Just like you wouldn't get up and run a marathon. You just
Can I share?
get up and have a headshot.
Can I share something, Elenora?
Yeah.
Okay. Without glasses. Do you see that? Do you girls, you see it? And then different outfit with glasses. So, oh, yeah. So my side gig is I'm a wedding officiant, and I also will be doing life celebrations. So the black with the glasses is for the life celebration stuff, and the purple, because I love purple, is for the wedding stuff. There. Now, am I still sharing? Am I still sharing?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So, yeah, there you go.
It's late. So yeah, that just gives you some idea.
It really
so much,
makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Any other questions for Elenora?
Where is your studio?
My studio's in Kemptville.
Okay.
So where you might be, depending, well, if you're in Brockville, we're 30 to 40 minutes away from each other. If you're in Kemptville, well, we've probably already crossed paths, because Kemptville's not that big.
Well worth the drive. So how are you handling the COVID stuff, Elenora? What are you doing?
These are roller coaster times is what they are. So, events, weddings, all those poor couples, honest to Pete, because
I know
this is weekend, right? So, there might be an announcement tomorrow and they have to modify at the last minute. So that's a little bit of a roller coaster. In terms of my commercial work, I will say that, there are considerations in place for commercial photography, even in red and gray zones. Some people might shake their head about that, but there's a difference between taking risks for retail photography, like photos that are just for memories, as opposed to photos that are for business purposes, because right now businesses need every help that they can get. And when you're now relegated to virtual meetings and, trying to peddle your products online, those images are far more important now. So there are some considerations in place for commercial studios, and I'm an established commercial photographer, so nobody's going to bat an eye that I'm doing commercial shoots. So even though the rest of the world is shut down in some ways, I can still operate doing commercial work.
And your hair and makeup can operate too?
You know what? So as I sometimes have a hard time actually discussing this. So I always say that's based on comfort. But yes,
Okay.
I can offer hair and makeup in the studio because it is for commercial reasons. You know, some people, some businesses, the little thing, I'm gonna, my little soapbox speech, some businesses are struggling. And they're struggling badly, and they really right now need to be converting their services to online, right? So some might be like, it is worth the risk for me to get hair and makeup so that I can get my business on a solid footing. You know, if our numbers were high in Kempville and I knew that there was something going on, I'd be like, you might want to hold off on getting the hair and makeup services, or you might want to hold off on doing your session, period. Do you understand? So there has to be some common sense in that. So just because I am legally able to work, it doesn't mean that I'm just going to operate without caution, or I'm going to advise people without caution too. But to answer your question, yes, because it is a commercial studio, I can operate with both hair and makeup with social distancing measures in place and PPE. And I photograph from a distance. So through this whole rejigging with COVID, you know, the images get loaded into the computer right away. I shoot tethered. I'm like 6 feet away from you. I'm masked the whole time. I take 6 or 7 photos. They come up on the screen. You get some feedback. We adjust as we go along. You're like, oh, no, I don't really like that big smile. I want a smaller smile, until we figure out what works for you.
Oh,
And then it's
okay.
gangbusters after that. So it's shot from a distance. There's no touch. We don't need to touch. And you can see your images right away without us getting in the back of the camera just to see what's going on.
It's amazing, all those little details you're talking about. It's all things that I've never heard another photographer ever say.
Mhm.
That you adjust as you go and that kind of thing. It's usually, oh, you know, we took some pictures and here's the best one.
Mhm.
So that actually is very impressive for sure.
Well, that's gonna segue to, you know, the unique selling proposition, right? So I'm just gonna check the chat here just for 1 second, because I think that there are some things that came up. So the question is from Amy. So Amy, are you all right if I share it? So the question is, what if it's the business isn't necessarily person focused and it's a dog park? So you've got a location. So your location can still be photographed, right? And if in terms of branding, so let's say, Amy, what do you want people to think about the dog park? So if I was a dog owner that wanted to, okay, so what is my problem? Why do I need a dog park? Okay, so I want my dog to socialize with other dogs. I want a fenced in area that I'm not going to be afraid that my dog is going to run off leash, because my dog is not very good at coming for the come command. And I want to meet people. So the images on your website, for example, might show, you might have models, dog models, well-behaved dog models that you have photographed with your target market owners that speak to your brand. And it might be a staged shoot, right? So you've got some owners there with their dogs, and they might be holding their Tim Hortons cup. You might not be able to use Tim Hortons because that's a brand, but they might have their coffee mugs, and they might be in a little circle chatting, and the dogs are running around, and you photograph them being happy and having fun, so that when those images match the content or the copy on your website, so safe environment, fenced in yard, socialization for the dogs, and socializing for the humans.
Can I come to that shoot?
Hey, I've got volunteer dogs for you, for dogs that don't like going to dog parks. So
Yeah, no, perfect. I was just curious if it would work for branding wise if you're not a person, because everything these days are person focused rather than product. And I don't like my picture being taken. I don't like being in the spotlight. So I'd rather know it's possible otherwise, which is great. So thank you.
Yes, but Amy, at somewhere in your website, people will be trying to find out who is the owner. So even if your picture is this big and it's a good picture of yourself, because you are in that group of people that I told you, 98% come through my door. And I bet you everybody on this call is like, oh, I hear you, Amy. I hate having my photo taken. And my response to that is, how many times have you had it professionally taken?
And the other thing that then the other thing that I might just add is this is not about you, Amy. It's about your clients, right? Yeah, and it's about your presence online. So, yeah, I get you, but I bet you she can make you look beautiful. You have my
Need
guarantee.
much help.
That's
now.
fair points. Fair points.
Yeah.
They're going to look for you as much as you don't want to be in front of the camera. They are looking. Yeah. Like,
And then they'll look at the dogs.
Yeah. And if you know what, you feel more comfortable with your own pets, then you photograph yourself with your pets. Yeah. Are there any other questions before I go on about unique selling proposition?
I have a quick one.
Yeah.
But it's probably a really silly one. We've been talking about like a lot of jobs that have product or like things where you can be like, this is what I do. What if you're on like doing something either online or a service base? Because like I'm sitting here being like, yeah, how do I showcase what I do?
Thank you.
It's just like me sitting
Yeah,
at a
me
computer
too.
being like,
How do you meet your clients, Rebecca?
on Zoom.
So there are pictures of you at a desk, staged with your headphones, with your computer, and you're looking and smiling at the screen. That might sound cheesy, but I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many people I have photographed in the past 6 months who are needing images like that. Right? So even myself, so I'll be having a branding session of myself. I'm in person sales. So I've got a studio that people come in and they view their photos and love their photos and cry over their photos when I photograph them, right? Well, now I'm consulting with people on Zoom. So when, you're going to see a morph on my website as well, that instead of just meeting me in person, a picture of my studio, you're going to see me speaking to my computer, because that's how people at first introduction are going to be meeting me now. So it's not, maybe for you, it's not just a headshot that's required. It's you and your environment, and your environment might be a fake environment because it's marketing. So it might be a staged vignette in the studio with a table, and it might have a little plant and a coffee cup and your computer and your headphones and your microphone. And you might have some branded Post-it notes and a pen and a coffee mug, right? So that's how you could be photographed. And as soon as someone sees that, they're like, okay, that's an online service.
Before COVID, Rebecca, were you going out to, like, did you do social media at events or client events? So there was more in-person stuff then.
Yeah. Well, but before COVID, I was doing tourism. So I was doing a lot of social media at events.
Oh, that would be a great background. You could be anywhere.
It lent itself to good opportunities, but now I'm just like, well, it's been COVID for a year, and it's probably going to be COVID for the next 10 years, it feels like. And
everybody's adapting, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you guys finish up. It was nice to meet all of you. And if you want to meet with me individually, that offer is still open until the end of...
Mute.
You muted yourself.
You muted.
So did you catch any of that?
No.
Oh, for God's sake. What a
Thank you.
You said we were all perfect and wonderful.
Yeah,
and
right, but you are. So anyway, I'm just going to say that I'm going to leave you now. And if you want to meet with me before the end of April, I'm still open to doing that for those of you who haven't. And good luck, and enjoy your evening. And thanks again, Elenora. You're the best.
Thanks, Wendy.
Okay, take care.
Have a good night. Okay,
thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, bye-bye.
So Carol had asked that I talk a little bit about your USP. So what is unique about you, right, and your business? Do you guys understand what I mean by your USP? Yes? Okay. So for me, so remember when we did all our introductions, right? It's key that when you're speaking or you're promoting your business, right, that you try to speak to the language or the voice that is speaking in your client's head, right? So for me, I could say I'm a wedding photographer, and then your eyes roll in the back of your head because you're like, who cares? I don't care about wedding photos, right? But if I speak to you about, I create compelling photos, could be a wedding photo, for people who hate having their photo taken, then I'm going to be speaking to just about everybody, male, female, kids, older, younger, business people, brides, grooms, mother of the bride, father of the bride. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Newborns, right? So that just applies to everybody, and that's the language that's in their mind, right? So remember when I said to you, if I'm lined up amongst 6 of my competitors, and we are all should be having great or delivering excellent customer service, and we should all be delivering, you know, a great product, right? Whatever that product is, what sets me apart from the rest, and why would somebody choose me? Right? It has nothing to do with, you know, a wedding photo, right? So for me, what makes me unique is I create compelling photos for people who hate having their photo taken, where maybe my colleague beside me can create a compelling photo, but my client might not like the process. Do you understand what I'm trying to say by that? So if that language speaks to you, that you know, I'm going to create a compelling photo of you and you're going to love it and you're going to have a great time doing it. You might not really believe me, but if I say to you, I create compelling photos for people who hate having their photo taken, you're like, I should check this person out. You're going to just stick around a little bit longer and find out if we're a fit. You're like, oh, those pictures are kind of nice. Oh, I know that person. Wow, that person looks great and it's still them. Like she's not heavily made up and she's not unrecognizable. And I'm going to ask her how that was. Oh, what's her price? I think I can manage that. Or I think I can stretch my budget. So then the wheels start turning, right? So you need to ask yourselves in your business, what you do, what is unique about how you do it? And what is the language that your client is speaking that you're going to address? That's hard. It's hard.
So would you say this is where we would start targeting like our ideal customer and like really narrowing down like, okay, I'm not talking to everyone. I am talking to this person, this demographic, or are we still trying to be like, I want everyone, but I don't want everyone?
Well, you know what? It's a process, right? Because sometimes you start a business and you think you know who you want to work with, right? But then as you go along, your business changes too, right? And you start discovering, this is my cash cow. I never thought that it was going to be so easy to work with this group. And I really like working with this group. I never thought that. And this is really what excites me. So sometimes your business can change. So then you change your focus, right? And you change how you speak to the people. But it all depends. So how do I answer that question in a concise way? It's hard because unless you're very clear from go when you start your business. So for example, I use Amy as an example, right? So Amy, if your goal is, you know, socialization, fenced in, safe socialization for the humans, right? That's very clear. That's very clear. But if you're like, this is going to be a fenced in dog park for large dogs only, then your language that you're going to be speaking to the owners is different. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? So you kind of figure you need to know it's work. You need to know what is it that you want to do. What is it that's going to make you money? What do you enjoy doing? And then what makes you different from everybody else in that grouping? So when I first started photography many moons ago, I loved photographing and buying props for newborns and oh my God. Until I started photographing newborns on a regular basis and discovered, and I have 4 kids of my own, so it's not like I was a newbie to having kids, right? Discovering that a session would take me 3 hours and maybe I would get 10 miracle shots out of the session. I'm like, this is not cost effective. Like, this is not, So for me to, jig my business and only shoot exclusively newborns, I was like, this is going to be hard. I'm not sure that I want, and I was starting to not really enjoy that. And I discovered certain avenues in my business that I really enjoyed doing. And it took me a while to figure out why people were coming to me, what was magical about doing a session with me, right? And I discovered that it's not necessarily the genre, that whoever it is, I can get them to enjoy the process because they're resonating with me and who's behind the lens and not who's in front of it. So creating those photos for people who need them, and who hate doing it, but then walk away converted. Be like, yeah, damn it, I can take a good photo. And there's nothing better for me. And it sounds creepy. I can't walk around saying I love photographing women, because then I just sound like a creeper. Do you understand what I mean? It's true. But honestly, that's what it is. Like when somebody walks in my door with all that baggage, all that language in their head about they're not photogenic and I need to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds lighter. My clothes don't fit, COVID, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They come in with all this stuff, right? Somebody had said some comment in the past, or they just think that they're not photogenic, right? And then to watch them unfold in front of my camera. And then when I show them that taking a good photo of themselves has little to do with them and everything to do with me, and then they see the result of that, there is nothing better for me than that. And then they walk out the door feeling so good about having a photo that they can finally feel confident and proud to use. Like, that to me is like, whew. I don't mean to sound like a horse's rear end, but what I'm trying to say is when I see that happening, and I know, because I know they come in with all that tension and all that baggage, and I just know, I'm like, listen, just let it go, leave it at the door, just come in, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. And knowing that they leave feeling so, I don't even want to say empowered, but feeling like, okay, I am photogenic. I just didn't know how to take a photo of myself, is really what then the language is.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody talk about photography like that. So
I'm feeling empowered just thinking about it. And I'm like,
right? Yeah.
I am not the most comfortable with getting my photo taken, but I'm like, maybe you could do it.
But even what you were talking about, where that when you meet the client or that resonates with you, right? I couldn't never really name that before, because I was making bouquets, and sometimes husbands would come and grab them and they're like, yeah, whatever, and then women who, it was sort of like at the end of the day or before they were going to work, and they just knew they needed something to get them through that day or to recover in the evening. And I'd get like little messages, and then it became almost like, you get, it's like a girlfriend check-in, just I need to talk to somebody calm, and I need to come by and just pick up something to lift my spirits. And then I was like, I get something out of that, whereas other elements, it's kind of like, yeah, it's a transaction. So it's sort of like elevating from a transaction to.
Yeah. So Tracy, it's not the product.
Right.
It's not the product. So you just need to figure out what are the words, what's the dialogue that they've got in their brain, what's the pain point for them that you're solving.
Yeah, it's sort of like a calmness or something, like a touchstone or something. I don't know what it is yet. I'm getting there. But a connection, I guess it's just a connection among women, where we've always been able to kind of lift each other up after a bad day or just a trying or challenging time. Like, everybody has them. So they just need to know someone's there caring, right?
So Jennifer, for you, you do virtual events, right?
Well, that's kind of going to be the goal. I'm very pre-startup. What started this was the boss of mine at Die Brockville Venture Center was like, since your DJ stuff is stalled, I could so see you sneaking onto people's lawns and decorating for birthday events and stuff. I'm like, that would be so much fun, So my like unique idea for this whole thing is more along the lines of just being able to help people continue to celebrate everyday events in extraordinary ways, even though we're going through a really rough time with all the different rules and regulations and everything.
Mhm.
So helping them think outside of the COVID box to still be able to enjoy themselves.
Mhm. Yeah, but you know what? You don't want them thinking outside of the COVID box. You want them thinking with COVID in mind, but what they can't do and what you can for them because of
Exactly.
COVID.
And any future health climates that may come, because once this is done, who knows what's going to come next, right? There's
Yeah.
always something, unfortunately. So
Mhm.
it's creating that environment where you can still celebrate and enjoy life, but you're following all the rules and regulations that you need to keep in mind.
Mhm. Yeah, these are crazy times.
I think it's a fabulous idea.
Any reservations that I can address, like for yourselves, and not just for working with me for a head shop, but any like, okay, well, I don't know where should I start? What do I do? If you can't manage, to get a professional headshot, then do the best that you can with what you have. So get rid of the cat, get rid of the flowers, get rid of the pictures of your kids. Even a cell phone is better than nothing, right? And get people to take a picture of you. Find good light. So put yourself, usually if you face a window, don't put your back to a window, but you're going to face a window that has nice, even lighting, and then get someone to take a picture of you as you face that window. Yeah.
Lots
always
of really
worry-
good. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I always worry about hair and makeup because I swear every time somebody's done my makeup, I come out looking like I should be close
I
to a
know.
pole.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. So, but that's just like, I'm gonna say that. Well, that's the same as a photographer, right? So most people are like, I hate having my photo taken. Well, I always say that you just haven't had the right photographer. So when people say that they hate hair and makeup, I know I get it, because you're thinking of like 90s glamour, and you're thinking of yourselves as like, not yourself. So the key is working with a hair artist, and it's makeup that's more important than the hair, because you can have a bad hair day, and if your face still looks good and you look rested and stuff like that, you're still gonna look fabulous. But the reverse is not true. So if you're looking yellow and drawn and ashen, it doesn't matter how fabulous your hair looks. You still look. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
And that's the day when people are like, oh my gosh, you look tired. But yeah, but my hair's nice. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why'd you look tired? My hair's nice. But it's what's happening here in the face, right? So the artists that I use, it is a lot of makeup. I will tell you, it is a lot of makeup, but it's for photography, right? And it's not just so you're all caked up, but it's proper light and shadow in the right places. And then all of the women on the website have had professional hair and makeup with the artists that I have, and they don't look made up. They don't look like glamour sessions. They just look like themselves, having had a good night's rest. All of them are wearing artificial lashes, and you wouldn't know it. So the key is working with somebody that knows good makeup, and that somebody just looks at you and says, you look good, as opposed to, oh, that's nice makeup. If you can see the makeup,
So these are artists that you work with on a regular basis. So they know what you want and you're comfortable with them. So,
and then,
okay.
Yes. And then in the process too. So you come in, we look at your outfits, you sit down and get your hair and makeup done, or whatever service you've chosen, or none. And then before hair leaves, you see everything. She's usually gone first because she's a lot less time. And then makeup. So makeup is going to get some feedback all along the way. And usually my clients look and say, oh, that's a lot of makeup. We're like, okay, just hold it. And then I'll do some test shots. And then they're like, oh, yeah, that's kind of nice. And we zoom in, we look at the eyes, we look at the blush, we look at the lipstick. And then makeup sticks around for a few other test shots just to make sure it's translating well. And then she's gone. And by the end of the session, my clients don't even see the makeup anymore. It's on their face, but they don't see it in their images.
It's not like the first time you do stage makeup.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense that the makeup is aimed towards the photography.
Mhm. Yes, but you could still walk out and go to Walmart and not turn heads with it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can tell that you're really passionate about doing this, because it really, I think all the ladies here, you can see everybody nodding that everybody's feeling
Mhm.
excited about doing it. Whereas I know that when I was getting on this call, I was like, oh,
Yeah, I know. Somebody's going to be talking to me about getting photos done.
Mm.
I know. Mhm. Yeah. All right. Well, I think you guys are, what do you usually, you stop at 8?
We do, yeah. So maybe, is there?
Well, you know what? I'm going to excuse myself so that you guys, if there's some follow-up discussion that you guys need to have, or there's some things that you guys need to chat about, because, you know, if you had Wendy on at the beginning, you have me here, and perhaps there's things that you guys want to chat about that, you know, you don't want other outsiders to hear, you know what I mean? So I'm going to excuse myself. It was good to meet all of you. I wish you much success in your individual businesses, and hopefully I'll see you at some point in your businesses, either as a customer or for you coming for photography. And if I have the opportunity to work with you, but good luck with everything. Okay.
I have a quick
thank you for your
question before
time.
you go.
Mhm.
Are you in the group that we have?
I think
Or-
so. Yes, I think so. I think Carol creates new ones for each, and I think she just added me just recently.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was trying to jot down your email address and I didn't get it fast enough. So I was
Mhm.
wondering if you could share the email
Yeah,
address.
I'm
like,
gonna type
in the
it right
morning.
here. If I can, just give me 1 second here. If I can, I'm gonna put it right in the chat. So it's right here. So you guys have it.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Because yeah, I was like writing and then I was like, I'm not writing fast
Yeah.
enough.
And then the
And
website.
it's probably on your website, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. And we'll get, and to get the rate that you're talking about, we are to get back to you by Friday.
By Friday. So $99 classic.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Okay, so by Friday. So the
Awesome.
classic headshot is one backdrop, one outfit, one classic pose. So, you know, it's the fastest way to get something that's professional without fuss.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, you have a good night and good luck. Okay.
Very much.
Thank you.
So much.
All right. Good night. Bye.
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 I'm gonna stop recording. Are you guys heading out or should I close the chat?
I'm gonna head out.
Yep, I'm
yeah.
heading out.
Okay. See you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
I'm gonna
everybody.
then. Bye.